This Sunday. Every Sunday. Side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here! Relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gas, but mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the MotorMouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Garino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Saxophone note. Come on. Do it, Chris. Yeah. As of last night, you've tuned into this morning's, afternoon's, today's MotorMouth Radio Show with your hosts, Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. We're back, and we're starting our 20th year on, what is this? Cadillacs and Cherries, I think, is the name of our new show, right? I like cherries.
I don't know what our MotorMouth Radio manager was talking there. I don't know. He was having some sort of promotional brain scramble. I have no clue what he was saying. he was confusing our listeners just as much as we confuse our listeners, which I find hysterical.
Do you think that's possible?
I don't know. I like to think of us as MotorMouth Radio. You know that feeling when you just take a sip of the warm hot chocolate just before you pour it down your pants? That's the way I like to describe this program on this winter's day. The start of our 20th anniversary. The next 20 years, Ray.
Well, yeah. And I'll tell you what. Listen, because I'll tell you who else likes that promo. Here's the guy. Play. No, wrong one. This one.
Hey, you. Get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the MotorMouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
That's right.
That's right.
John has weighed in and he said that Cadillacs and Chevys, and I complimented Rob on the Big Block comment, right? And of course, Glocks and pinky rings and Chevys, some of his favorite things. And I agree, John, we're all on the same page on that one. So
that's for sure. I like that promo. That promo definitely just encapsulates this entire program.
Yeah.
Starting with that, hey, you get over here.
Right.
That personifies what we do and how we do it here every week from noon to whenever on
wherever. And yeah, you can hear more of John. If you want to come over on Thursday nights to Playing in Traffic, find us over there, and John and I are regulars on that show, and we'll entertain you, as it were. And I got to tell you, speaking of our 20th anniversary thing, one of our other friends who I met on Thursday nights, Justin from American Gas, our hot rod shop up in Saginaw, Michigan. Not much. He's Slingshot 302 on Instagram. He sent me a message yesterday and said he got to finish listening to last week's special and said he really, really liked it, congratulated us, and said, boy, that was a really good show. And I tell you, on Instagram and Twitter, there was a lot of response also. Facebook as well. People did enjoy that. They liked it. So they said, Chris,
I'm very glad.
Do more.
Yeah. Hey, we need more stories. I mean, that was, if you didn't get to listen to it, please go to MotorMouth Radio and check it out there. We have it on the download. It was a good show, and what I tried to do was focus on the stories. We didn't focus on the people this time. We just focused on what they were saying. And there were just a lot of good stories and a lot of good incidents and events that just made the last 20 years. And I agree with what you say, Ray. I think about it a lot now, where it was just like a travel log or like a This Is Your Life sort of brought the last 20 years of this program together. And that's what I appreciated the most about it. So it was fun. Sure. And it was fun too.
It was.
So yeah. It was a good time, even with the technical difficulties that we threw in there. It was still a good time.
Yeah, stick with us for some more, because we're going to have more coming up. That's for sure.
More technical difficulties, yes, I hope so.
And you can find that goes without saying. Find us on social media, of course, on the web and on Twitter and on Facebook. It's MotorMouth Radio, and on Instagram it's real_MotorMouth Radio, and you'll find pictures and things of what we do. And I actually met another guy on Thursday night. This fellow called Garrett Reed. He is an Instagram phenom. I tell you, you check him out at American Muscle HD. He's only got 2.2 million followers, so,
only
he knows a few things about it. And I asked him, I said, listen, Garrett, I said, can a few of them fall off of your shoulders, like into our basket a little bit, so we could get a couple? And he's like, believe me, if I could do that, I would. And he gave us all a few tips on how to increase our social media game. And I did speak with our social media and web director this week at length, and we discussed some of this stuff. So we're going to try and implement a few changes and do things. My younger daughter is also in on the scheme because she's big in that world, so she's going to help. I'll help you, Dad, if you need. So
nice.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of the Playing in Traffic show on Thursday. It was very good.
Right.
It was very good. It was interesting.
Well, then you would have seen Garrett, right? He was the special guest. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very informative individual. I mean, I think what I liked was you guys were talking about brakes.
Yeah.
And that's when I was soaked in.
Okay.
that's when I was getting into it. I was like,
okay. Yeah. You were trying to stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
And that's funny because everybody's always talking about how fast they go. My interest is, how do you stop?
Yeah.
Especially now that I drive a behemoth that's equipped with manual brakes. I've never owned manual brakes before.
Well, my semi-behemoth has manual brakes too.
Really?
Oh yeah, I have manual. I'm not running a booster in that car. Manual brakes.
Oh, wow.
I had it rebuilt just in case, but that was one of the things we talked about. Well, the thing is, like with your car, Chrysler C-Body, that's one of the areas I give Chrysler props. They always had very good and very adequately competent drum brakes. They were 11 by 2.5, 11 by 2.25, big drum brakes, which were
they're mamalukes.
It would stop everything from an A body to a C body because they were so big. And in like in my car, my Pontiac, 9 by 1.5 inch brakes. I mean, they didn't stop. I mean, it's okay for the 6-cylinder version. Then you put it in like the highest horsepower version car that they make with the same brakes, and it was just it never. Back in the day when I was running the drum brakes, I did everything, changing drums. I even tried finding those elusive aluminum drums with the fins, and I used to play with the linings. We spoke about this. We had a guy when I worked at the auto electric shop. He owned a brake company, and Perfect Brake was the name of the company. And what they used to do is I used to have him make me brake linings where, like, the primary shoe was a taxi lining, which was a harder, less fade resistant or more fade resistant shoe, and then the secondary was more of a standard organic. So we used to mix and match shoes all the time, and you know what? Some things made it better, but at the end of the day, with the driving style I had at the time, I was always fading the brakes on the Cross Island Parkway, so it was ridiculous. I shouldn't be here to talk about it because I should have been balled up in a wreck time and time again. I should have just been able to relive that loop like Groundhog Day and just kept turning into a giant ball of steel and flesh. But luckily I didn't. So because there was somebody needed me here to do this. 40
I was going to say,
almost 50 years later.
Right, you survived long enough to actually come to your senses,
right,
and tell the world on a weekly basis not to do what you've done.
Right. Yeah. Very true. Very true.
To do it right.
So yeah, Garrett was talking about his like 80. What is it? 85. It's, one of the Monty SS's from the mid 80s.
84.
84.
He said he had an 84.
Okay. And he had done some. Well, now he put an LS in the thing, so he's got a lot of horsepower. And he did a brake conversion, put some Willwood brakes in it, but he was having some trouble setting that up in the beginning. And that was the basis of that conversation. So we just kind of hashed out how to, and I talked about the rod length, how I always like to maximize that on all my cars. I like
when you smile when you talk about that.
I do, yes, I do. And I didn't tell the story how when I did my Fiat, I used to drive around, drive the car, and what happens when the brakes get hot, the fluid expands. The brake fluid expands a little bit. And then there's pressure put on that rod. So what I did is I measured it, I set it up where it was supposed to be, where they said it was supposed to be, drove around and said, okay, still too much play in the brakes. I pull over, and I got it down to a science with two 12-millimeter nuts. I pull the master off the booster, pull the rod out, and it was an adjustable rod, so I would loosen the lock screw. With a vernier caliper, I'd measure, and I'd go like maybe 20 thousandths longer. Lock the screw, put it in, put the nuts on, drive. And I'd keep doing that until I noticed as I was slowing down for a light or a stop sign, the car would slow down more than just the force of friction of the car slowing down, because the brakes were now starting to drag because the rod was long enough. Now, if you go too long, which happened on my motorcycle many years ago, you'll lock the wheel up. It'll just, because it's like applying the brake. Then I knew, okay, too long, pulled over and backed it down like 10 thou. And that was where I went. I went like I wanted to go to the edge of the adjustment. And to me, that was, and he was looking like, wow, you do all that? I'm like, all that and much more, Garrett.
And much, much more. Yeah, I did the same thing. I think we spoke about this many years ago, but I did the same thing with the Caddy Seville because I had a problem with the all-disc, that General Motors mid-70s all-disc setup that was just, to me, a failure from day one. I don't think it was a very good affair, braking affair, but I had to do the same thing with the master cylinder and the power booster. I would sit in traffic on the Bell Parkway in the granny lane, and all of a sudden the brakes would start to lock up, and I'd pull over and do the same thing you did. With the brake lines attached, I would undo the master cylinder, push it away from the booster, adjust the rod, only I didn't have a caliper. I just went a quarter turn.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah.
Quarter turn, put it all back together again, drive a little more. And usually you had a time, but that time, you gave it that time to cool down, the brakes to cool down a bit, so they would contract.
Yeah.
And then you'd get on the highway, go back and sit in the traffic, stop, go, because there's no other way to get through the Bell Parkway.
No.
So you just stop and go, and then all of a sudden it would just stop. So you'd have to pull over. You'd feel that brake drag. You pull the car over again and go through the same affair of readjusting and then back in the car. And by the time I got to work, the brakes were adjusted fairly well.
The other thing I told him was there's another rod that goes from the booster to the pedal. And that rod, the first rod between the booster and the master isn't always adjustable, but the one from the booster to the pedal is almost always adjustable.
Always.
You know? So that's that's it. So you know what else is adjustable? This thing that's blinking here. Let's go to the phones in 2022 and go to the fun and say hi. You're on with the MotorMouths.
Speaking of cooling down, happy anniversary, gentlemen.
What's up, Bob? Happy anniversary. Thank you. Happy anniversary. Happy New Year. Happy something. I don't know.
Yes.
Happy 20th year?
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
You believe
I'm so happy for you guys.
Yeah, all in a row.
It's not just
amazing.
It's not just you two doing it. It's the college and also your family being supportive that you did 20 years of talk radio.
Well, it's 20 years of getting us out of the house on a Sunday, which is nice.
That is true.
And for 8 years, we did a Thursday show, so that kept us away, too.
Right. Bob, I'll let you in a little secret. I really thought that they were going to give us about 6 months and then show us the door.
Yeah. Right.
So it either proves one of two things. Either they thought we were radio geniuses and kept us on all this time, or they just weren't listening.
No, Jim Green needed programming.
Yeah, or they really desperately needed programming.
Just as long as you don't play in that crazy rock and roll stuff.
Right. Exactly.
The stuff that kids today are listening to.
So what do you have planned for the new year, Bob? What are your aspirations and projects?
We're okay here.
Okay.
I must say we're blessed in many ways, and I want to wish that to everyone and your families and all your listeners. I wish you guys a very happy New Year. Congratulations on your 20th year.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you very much, Bob.
I meant to ask you, is there a MotorMouth Radio Person of the Year this year? I don't know. We missed it, didn't we?
I'm having a... Yes, there will be. I'm also having a hard time wrapping my head around these new EVs.
Yeah, us too. And you know what? To your credit with that, it was a tough year. We didn't have as many people through the show as we had in the past, so there weren't as many other personalities to choose from. So we understand that. We know. We were scrapping and fighting with it ourselves, so no worries.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right. But don't think it doesn't mean anything less from your callers from your products. You guys in Florida. You got a guy up in Saginaw.
Oh yeah.
You got a guy from Matco.
Mm-hmm.
You have some great providers for your show, and the information, it doesn't go unnoticed.
Excellent, very good. Well, thank you for noticing that, because we have grown, and you know what it is with the other endeavors that we do. That's how we've kind of cross promoted a lot of things. And in this age of media, social media, that's what people do. They share, and luckily, we've been blessed with knowing some good guys who are very happy to share. So, yeah.
Right. You also had that gentleman down in Florida, right?
Well, we got a few. We got Chassis John down there, of course. He's building stuff, and we have some other friends down there in Florida as well.
Hot rod chick racing dragsters. I mean, you guys have a wealth of information, and I can't thank you enough.
You're welcome, Bob. That's our goal, to strive to plan to keep doing that, and until we can't do it anymore.
That's for sure.
I wish you guys well.
Thanks, Bob. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bob. You as well.
All right.
Cool.
All right, that's our caller, Bob. And guys like Bob, Bob's a mainstay, so that's that's cool. Hey, speaking of Florida, I spoke with a friend yesterday who's down that way, and he said he was all gaga about this. He says there's a place that he found in Clearwater called Roosters, and it's Roosters with a Z. And it's like a warehouse car show. He says it's all kind of rat roddy. I guess the rat rod's finally caught up in Florida, but very rat rod-ish, patinaed cars. Everything is hydraulically dropped. They don't do airbags. They do hydraulics. And he was saying, if you're ever down that way, check it out. It's in North Unit F on 34th Street in Clearwater. So I said, I won't be getting down there very soon, but, And he said Biff Burgers closed in St. Petersburg, and they actually auctioned off the Chevy, the Caddy that was on the roof. And somebody bought it for like $900, I think. But the codicil was they had to get it off the roof in 3 days.
Oh, no way.
And they did. The guy was, I think it was 57 Chevy. So
really? I'm looking it up now. Biff Burgers Caddy.
Yeah, it was a popular chain. It was the last one in the country, he said, and it just closed. I know there was one out in California, because I see it in Adam 12 all the time. They pull into Biff's for dinner sometimes when they take 7.
You know what? I really thought you were kidding. I didn't think that there is a Biff Burger.
Yeah, there is. Well, there was.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got pictures of Biff Burgers, but no pictures of a Cadillac on the roof. So we'll have to dig a little deeper.
While we're talking about Floridia, let's continue on. I have one other piece here. Down at Desertland Park, this is something that we're kind of associated with on the outskirts for right now. It's right in Orlando, right near Disney. This fella actually bought a shopping mall, and converted it into an automotive mecca. And
that's amazing.
The rooms are all theme based by year and by era. And what they're having is a Model Mania, a model car building contest, January 22nd to 23rd, and where you can show off your modeling skills and you can compete for trophy and cash prizes. It's 10 to 4 on January 22nd, 23rd. We'll talk about it more as the month goes on. But you can go to, let's see, we have a website here, Junior Builders, pre-register online at LVEGOSEN at dezer.com. And again, that's on International Drive in Orlando. Check it out, especially if you're a model builder and you want to. You should go down there, Chris. Bring out your model building prowess.
My days are done. You know what's so funny? I had to build a model about 5 years ago, and I couldn't remember. Literally, I remember being it was such a natural exercise
Right.
When I used to build models on a regular basis, that when I opened up the box, I was like, I haven't this clue what I have to do right now.
Really? You got to break everything off those little trees.
Well, what I used to do was I used to paint while the part was on the tree.
I've heard of that, yeah.
I would segment off some of if there was like engine parts, some of them had to be different colors, so I would segment off with tape and then shoot them while they were still on the tree to keep my grubby fingerprints from getting onto the parts while I was handling them.
That's a good idea.
The paint was wet.
Yeah.
So I used to do it. And I'm like, that was like the only thing I remembered. I'm like, holy smokes, what do I have to do? How do I have to prep the plastic? What do I have to... And the funny thing was, it's like... we spoke to Stevie Maggs about model building, and I'm totally was like I was trying to channel him.
Yeah, no, he's the master. He really is.
So I was trying to channel Steve Mandante to come up with the right way of building the model. But I eventually put it together. It took a while, but I eventually put it together. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to get my model car building chops back. But yeah, it's been a while.
The kits have gotten expensive.
And they have.
When I was down in Tennessee a few years ago, I was in a shop. It wasn't a hobby shop. It was a catch-all shop like they do in the South. And there was a couple of muscle car kits, and they were asking like $23, $24 or more for these things. I'm like, get out of here. It's like the $6 kit. But no, there are no $6 kits anymore. But like Steve said, there's a lot of companies now who are remaking the original. They bought the rights to the original like Monogram and the HPCs, and they're redoing them now. So, but the prices I think are in the teens. It's a double-digit thing. It's not cheap anymore. Well, I mean, I guess if you look at it dollar for dollar, it probably costs the same as it did when we were kids. But
probably right.
But in our heads, we still think that it should be, shouldn't be that much, like everything else.
But I remember those kids used to buy one model and 7 tubes of glue.
Well, yeah. Well, there was and one sock. Let's go to the park. Come on.
Sock. That's all I need. Yeah. Toss that model over.
I'll meet you by the band shell. All right.
Yeah, I remember the guy at the Hobby Hut that I used to frequent in Brooklyn. The proprietor at the Hobby Hut used to marvel at the fact that I bought one model and one tube of glue. He'd say, like, you're really going to build this model? I'm like, yeah, I'm planning on it.
That's like the stupid things we do. Like, I remember when many years ago, I always dabbled with smoking cigarettes, and I never really liked it, so I didn't continue to do it. But I would always want to use like one book of matches for one pack of cigarettes, because it was a one, and like, if you lit a match and blew out, like, oh damn it, there goes my average.
Your ratio.
Right. Stupid stuff. But
I don't think during that silly time of my life when I was a smoker, I don't ever remember buying a cigarette lighter or losing a cigarette lighter.
Really?
I always had them.
Okay. Wow.
They were always there. They were like kittens. They were always there. They were always within hand's reach at one time.
Right.
And now, if there's ever a birthday in the house, it's like, where's the lighter? Find the lighter.
Right.
Find the lighter. Where's the lighter? I got to light a candle. Got to light a candle on the birthday cake. Got to light a candle. There's no lighters. There's no matches. There's no lighters. I got nothing. I got to go to the stove, hold the cake up to the stove, and hold the candle up to the stove. There's nothing that creates combustion in the house anymore.
We always had this nice crystal dish, and we used to put the matches in there from weddings, because it had the name and the couple's name.
Right.
So you could always dip in there and grab them. But now you do that, and the match is like, poof, poof, it's like falls apart. Everything just falls off the stick. Like, all right, these are a little old. When they get married? Oh, 83. Oh, geez. Wow. No, and that's why I keep the Bernzomatic torch handy for with a piezo ignition.
That's a smart move.
There you go.
516-572-7440. I got a little bit of a beef here.
That's the number to call. Talk to us.
Yes, I got. Speaking of which, I got a little bit of a beef here. I'm flipping through some of the Facebook Marketplace and looking for some of the cars that are for sale, some classic cars, because I'm always, everybody's always looking, and I am as well. And I found I'm really getting a little tired of people that actually assess the value of the vehicle before the vehicle's restored. And I'll explain.
Oh yeah,
there was a guy that was on. in Facebook Marketplace had an old Caddy convertible, 50s Caddy convertible. And Ray, when I tell you the car was in pieces, literally in pieces, and he still wanted like 10 grand for it, 12 grand for it. So instantly I'm attracted to it. Let's see how bad this thing is. But no, it's completely shattered. And he posts, this car is worth $150,000 when restored correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the pictures and looking at the copy and going, you obviously didn't restore it correctly, Bunky.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm like, why are you even bothering? Why are you even wasting your time and now just wasted mine? So I've had it with them. It's bad enough you got to clean their garage for 10 grand because all the parts are scattered everywhere. Now they're giving you financial projections.
Let's project to the phone here and say, let's go in and say hi. You're on with the MotorMouths.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Congratulations for your 20 years of great show.
Thanks, Cliff. How's everything going with you?
Good.
What's up, Cliff?
Well, Chris, I got a question. So 20 years in, do you guys get like a MotorMouth pension now?
No, we got a MotorMouth pencil.
Okay.
And I got to say, forget about that. You're right on topic, Cliff, because Chris is talking to me. You heard him talking about these Craigslist and cars.
Yes.
You send out you find the craziest stuff. So, Chris, here's the guy.
They yell at you before you even get there, and But what Chris is right though. You always have the guy. He's got the car that's in pieces. This car restored, it's worth $100 grand, but he doesn't tell you it costs you $200 grand to restore it.
Exactly.
Yes, you hit it right on the head, Cliff. It takes double the amount of money to restore the car from the condition it's already in.
But I crack up because I send Ray. I always looking at Craigslist just for and whenever you see some of the funniest ads, the guys put some funny stuff in them, and so I usually forward it over to Ray.
And those are actually good to read. They're funny to read because the guy has a sense of humor. He knows what he's got. I love it when you're looking at this pile of rust and the guy says, "Can easily be a rat rod or a stored classic." I go, "Geez." Let's stick with the first one there.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my God!
But we should do a little book of put together a coffee table book of funny Craigslist ads.
Right, that would be a great book. It would be.
It would be.
But but I just want to congratulate you guys. 20 years is great. The show brings a lot of people a lot of enjoyment on Sunday.
Thanks, Cliff. And you've been here for a good part of it. We thank you too, because without the listeners, we'd be talking to ourselves. So
thank you guys. And listen again. Have a great show.
Thanks, Cliff.
Thanks,
all right,
Cliff.
take care.
All right, talk to you soon.
Chris. Bye-bye.
All right, so long.
Bye-bye.
That's good old Cliff, a long time
Always good to hear from Cliff.
caller and friend, yes.
True. And he's right. He hit it right on the head. It takes double the amount of money to restore the car from the condition that it's in, that this guy is trying to palm it off. And I'm thinking to myself, the first thing you have to bring into the garage is a shovel.
Yeah. Well, what they don't tell you, too, is now, having worked on some of these cars over at the shop that are like that Caddy, the 64 Caddy comes to mind. Yeah, a lot of it was there, and the guy had taken it apart nice and meticulous and saved all the parts. Now you're sifting through his boxes of parts, but when you find out the stuff that now you do need to change, either because you don't have it or you need a new one, and you see what the price of these parts is because they're not available anymore. Chrome, you can spend out the nose for Chrome. You can always do that, and a lot of stuff is reproduced, so you have that option if you want to use it. But for stuff like switches and knobs and stupid little things that aren't reproduced for a lot of the cars, that's where that money comes in. And I tell you, restoration gets real hairy at that point.
Yeah, it sure does. And that's when we talked about this earlier last year about the guy who had that 64 Cadillac that I saw the ad for, and he had a 350 Chevy in it. Chevy motor in it. And it was blasphemy at that moment. But then you think about it and go, how else is it going to keep that car running when you know that $700 will buy you a water pump, will buy you a $35 water pump at one time?
Yeah.
It's you realize the price of keeping that 429 big Caddy engine running when you could just drop a 350 in there and with the same amount of horsepower. And you think about it, is it blasphemy? Yes. Yeah. But will it keep that car running and keep your budget, keep you within budget? Yes, it will too.
Right.
So it's like pick your poison.
That's true.
What do you do?
Well, poison being as it is, we're at that bottom of the hour, and it's the time where we like to tap into the creative genius that's in your closet there behind you to pick out another card that has the MotorMouth Honor Group of the Hour. Do we have one this week?
Coming out of the closet again, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes we do. It's the MotorMouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour, boys and girls, and today It's folks that are still in the Christmas spirit. Is your Christmas tree still up and rapidly becoming a dried-up fire hazard? Do you still turn on your outdoor Christmas decorations and find comfort knowing that you're the last house on the block to do so? Do you still drive around with the deer antlers on your car along with the dirty red nose on the grill? Well, if you are one of those joyous souls that hang on to the Christmas spirit till at least mid-March, or if you leave everything intact all year to save time, taking everything down and setting it all back up again, then, so many people think you're strange, others may think you're innovative and thrifty, but either way, you're part of the MotorMouth Radio Honor Group of the Hour.
Nice.
Today.
All right, and if you are in the Honor Group or just like us and like this show, you're also going to like another show that's on the station Mondays at 8 p.m. called Polka Beat. And, of course, Polka Beat features the styles of polka music and additional music of Ukrainian, Slovenian, and Polish influence, as well as news of the ethnic community. And that's Polka Bob Petrowski who does that. And I think he chomps on, he's chomping on kibasi and vinegar while he's doing it. And the studio really stinks after that. So if you come in, it's a problem. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what else we don't get. We don't get any kibasi. We don't get any respect either. So for the Rodney Dangerfields of this world, us included, we're going to try and get some right now, but from the deep source. So let's do that, and we'll play a couple of bits. We'll be back with more MotorMouth Radio. Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer. Keep it where you got it on 90.3 WHPC. Show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York State law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar Lifetime Nationwide Warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available by calling 516-593-0920 or visiting online at celebritychasecollision.com.
You're listening to the MotorMouth.
Hello, gentlemen. You
Next
guys
one.
call yourself hot rodders. Come on, man. I was waiting for you to learn how to trim my bonsai plant. MotorMouth. Love the show and keep them coming.
You have to excuse me. I was just outside messing around with the car.
I'm reluctant to say I'm anything like you guys.
MotorMouth.
But I am exactly like you guys.
I try and keep every old thing going. Good show as usual. MotorMouth.
You guys are trouble.
I know you guys have your finger on the pulse of stuff.
Our trained staff of 2 will help.
Come on and ask and answer some car questions. I'm a fountain of useless knowledge.
Quite frankly, there are better things to do with your time.
Instructions are just another man's opinion, Ray.
Yeah, I talk to you guys when I need you. I appreciate you. I listen to you.
Yeah, I want to know what the is wrong with my car.
I'll be glad to answer any questions for you I can. You're different because you glow in the dark, so it's all good.
Rob, can I ask you a question?
Sure, ask anything you want.
MotorMouth.
Have you heard from Ray or Chris saying that this was going to be the best show ever in the history
you see,
of
it's
mankind?
funny because Ray will come in and say, well, Rob, this is going to be the greatest show we've ever done.
It's not Sunday morning until I'm sure.
And sometimes
that
Chris...
MotorMouth Radio is going to be the best show that was ever done.
And then Chris will sometimes joke that it's going to be the worst show they've ever done.
There are answers, sometimes correct ones, and we may have them.
MotorMouth Radio, 90.3 FM, WHPC.
MotorMouth.
My name is Carl Anthony with Automoblog and AutoVision News, and you're listening to Ray and Chris on MotorMouth Radio, WHPC 90.3 FM.
Hey, little girl. All right, we're back, little girls, little boys, teens, queens, guys in blue jeans, everybody out there listening in Radio Land to MotorMouth Radio. Ray Guarino, Chris Switzer, back on the con, taking care of business. And that's a BTO song. I'm sorry, we're playing some stacks today, so we don't want to mix our genres now, do we, Chris?
some stacks of wax. Very nice.
Yeah.
That was a good message. I like that message. That was a nice break, commercial break we just took down there. It's very good.
Yep, very good.
It was good. Yes.
Yes. So, now I find I have to suntan. Yes.
Right. You taught the sunroof how to open in 22 seconds.
22.7 seconds. Yes. Yes.
You can hear more of that on the 28th anniversary show that we did last week.
That's right. And what else you can hear is more of this. We can go to the phones and go to the fun, and we can say, hi, you're on with the MotorMouths, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey, who are you speaking with?
Chassis John.
Hey, John, you didn't sound like yourself. How are you, brother?
What's up, my brother?
I have a new telephone.
Oh, that's right. The iPhone 1300. Well, it costs 1300.
Max, 13 plus Max or something like that. It's the Max Daddy.
Jeez.
Unbelievable. So anyway, I'm calling you from the middle of a blizzard of sunshine in Florida.
Oh, dude, you really know how to stick the knife in the back.
I will.
84 degrees and sunny.
I'll tell you this, John. Since we did our weather reports on Thursday night, everybody around the country, of course, we had Arco out in Minnesota, was 28 below. And we were sitting here on the East Coast in the 30s and 40s, and John was saying, yeah, I'll go out tomorrow and I'll measure the sunshine for you. And we're like, get the hell out of here, John. But I've been using that line. Like my neighbor yesterday, he's cleaning his car. He's like, hey, Ray, doesn't this snow suck? I'm like, yeah, you know what? I said, my buddy in Florida went out and he's measuring the sunshine. He's going to send me the measurement. And he looked at me like, what? What? I'm like,
I'll send you a photo later of almost 12 inches of sunshine.
boy.
I got out the tape measure.
Is it a shadow?
It depends on the time of day. It changes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the sun was going to be shining on to. Okay, well, whatever.
So yeah. John, I'm in Home Depot. When was it? Yesterday, day before it snowed, and I went to go buy a shovel. So, of course, I walk up to the hangars where all the shovels are, and I grab a shovel, and a guy comes up next to me, big burly dude with the skull cap that's like not even sitting on his head right, and he goes and grabs the shovel next to me. He turns and looks at me and goes, "This stinks!"
Well,
turns around, walks away. I was cracking up right there. Shovel was still in my hand.
And you've ranted about the guys who go to buy a shovel when there's a snowstorm, so now you're it.
I was it.
Tag.
So you should never be the day of guy.
No.
Got to be prepared.
Yeah.
Yes. And I haven't bought a shovel in years. You know, it's funny. I'm a landlord, so, people leave. They leave a lot of shovels.
Yeah.
That's one of the things
the only
they don't take with them when they leave. Yeah, they leave snow shovels. So I had an arsenal of and shovels too.
No. The only shovel I have here is for the one that I got to use in the backyard when I got to get rid of something.
Right. Exactly.
You have to relocate some things.
John, let me ask you, when I talked to my boss, I was going to give you a call, but I was just too damn busy all day yesterday. I was at the shop working. Have you ever been to or heard of that place called Roosters?
Yes.
Okay.
And I never went, like an idiot.
Well, my other buddy, John, who's down there, he's I always forget if he's in Pasco or Pinellas County. I've talked to you about him in the past. And he was ranting. He says guys were inviting him to it's a very fragmented group. You got to know people, and they're very it's almost like they're snobby, but in a non-conformist way. It's like if you he has a really nice bike, but the only problem is the back of the seat ripped, and he put a piece of tape on it. And the guy says, "Yeah, I like the tape on your seat. You can park with us." It's like if it was a perfect seat, he could. So I don't know. Anyway, all right.
So the people that hang out there, based on that attitude, are probably all from the Northeast.
Okay. Well, maybe, yeah. I guess.
Because if you're a typical Midwesterner that has moved to Florida, it's they're not going to be the same. They're going to look at the seat and go, "Oh well, maybe it'll get fixed on its own." Be thankful that you have the seat.
Right.
They're completely different.
Right. No, he said it's definitely more of a counterculture group. A lot of skull caps, tattoos, and chicks with tattoos, and almost like I get that rockabilly vibe. A lot of rat rods. Everything is hydraulic. They frown on airbags for some reason. But they like the hydraulic dropped cars.
Really?
Yeah.
Hydraulics have they don't ride well at all.
There's no suspension.
Not only that, I said to him, John, like I said, you blow an airline or a tank, you get a trunk full of air. I said, you blow one of those hydraulic lines, you got a trunk full of freaking oil. You know?
Exactly. And if it breaks at the fitting, that fitting's whacking around and knocking stuff off the car and denting things.
Well, listen, nobody said these guys were the smartest bunch in Florida, but, you know.
No. Yeah, I'll have to go check that out.
It's
not far.
12234th Street, North Unit F in Clearwater.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to go check that out.
All right.
Sounds good. Anyway, congrats on 20 years.
Thank you, John.
Wonderful, wonderful work.
And, of course, now you're part of the, whatever goes forward, you're part of the infamy because we have your promo drop that we play. So you're part of it whether you like it or not.
There you go.
Yeah.
Always good to be one of the inside guys.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes. Right. One of the guys in the know.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get back to my metal work. As you saw on that Instagram post yesterday, that was the fill panel for the driver's side. So today I'm doing the passenger side.
John, what's your Instagram handle for people who may want to who should go check you out?
Yeah.
Chassis, CHASSIS _John.
Right. And check it out.
_
The metalwork, I tell you, like you said on Thursday, you really haven't. I haven't seen your work firsthand from back in the day, but if it's anything like what you're doing, or even if it was a little better, you haven't lost much. I got to say, I would agree with that.
Well, I'll be dead honest with you. When I used to do this full time, I got a lot of raves and pats on the back for what I did. And I would say I'm probably somewhere around the 80% mark these days because I'm back to doing it after 22 years. And
wow.
The biggest problem is it's slower than ever.
Yeah, right.
What I did yesterday, I would have been able to do both sides and start cutting the aluminum panel that fits between the wheel tubs in a normal work day. I was out here all day yesterday, and I was able to make the cardboard template and then cut the steel and then put it in the roller because there is a curve if you look at that picture, and then put it in the brake to make the lip and then trim and then weld it in, and I was dog tired after that. I'm like, I'm done.
Right.
So
yeah,
I do the passenger side, and we'll see how long this takes.
Yeah, I have to say that it's unfair for anybody to judge themselves or judge someone else based on what they were 30 or 40 years ago. You are what you are today. And you know what? You do.
Yeah, I know. But my problem is it's in the head.
I know.
And there's resistance in the nerves between the head and what the eye says it should be and the fingers.
That's why we have the Thursday.
As you grow old, there's that resistance in the nervous system. You slow down, and it takes more voltage to get something done. And I can't find that voltage.
Well, John, that's why we have the Thursday night, late night support group where we all commiserate about that, and we cry on each other's shoulders.
But yeah, John, the funny thing is now I incorporate that getting up off the ground. As I incorporate that into part of the repair and part of the reason why it takes me longer than usual too. So I get
one of the reasons why I have a top-notch, way to go, awesome rotisserie.
Right.
Yes.
I got this behemoth up on the rotisserie. I've got the front end down. I've got the back end jacked up, and I'm sitting on my little stool with wheels, and I'm comfortable. And then if needed, I can hit the hydraulic jacks and raise the whole thing up and rotate that car 90 degrees and stand there and just work on it, eye level.
Like a gentleman.
Down if need be.
I'll tell you that I was at
rotisserie is the way to go.
I went to the shop yesterday to work on the FJ, and I took Kilowatt Kevin with me to get him out of the house, hang out, spend some time. And I was doing some things on the truck, oil change up and down. He says, wow, he goes, the beauty is now all you got to do is push the button and just lift this thing up. At home we don't have lifts. And I said, no. Like I was going to dive under. I said, yeah, it's nice. And then I was working on my standing up. I said, you know what, screw this. Brought it down, rolled over the stool, and I said, I like to sit when I work.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't fit a lift into my garage. There's a lot of houses here in Florida that have very high garage ceilings,
Yeah.
where you actually could put a lift in, but I don't. I have it's like 8 or 9 foot ceiling.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
You need 12.
Once I get this one done and I move everything into my other commercial shop, well, there I've got 20-foot ceilings.
Right.
So, yes,
Sure.
a lift will be on order when I'm ready to move over there.
Yeah, nice. Well,
all right, guys.
All right, Johnny, we always look forward to the progress. Thanks for calling, and we will talk again soon.
And John, I'm not going to follow you home.
Okay.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
You better not.
I just got a delivery of a wooden crate with a lot of ammo.
Oh, cool. Nice. Don't check the invoice against the manifest. Make sure you got what you ordered.
Catch you later.
All right, John. So long.
Take care, my brother.
Bye.
That was Chassis John from up here, who's now down in Florida.
Yes.
And doing
he's blending right in, even as we speak.
Oh, yeah. Now, he made the neighborhood blend into him. But what do you call it? He's doing some phenomenal chassis work again on these Firebirds that he's building. He's doing 2 of them. And
at the same time.
Well, no, he's doing 1 at a time. But like he said, it's coming along slower than maybe his wife expects. But still, like you said, you don't work as fast as you get older. Things do slow down, and
Oh yeah, I'm working at a glacial pace myself. It's just the nature of the beast. I don't know whether I'm still doing good work, but darn, is it taking a long time. John's exactly right. I always attributed it to the cold.
Well,
everybody saves their big projects for the winter.
That's stupid.
And I try really hard not to.
Right.
Because I can't work in the winter.
That's right.
It's just it's like pushing against the mud. Everything takes forever. I always attribute it to the cold. I blame it on that.
To that point, yesterday we're working on the truck, and I was doing maintenance, oil change. I want to rotate the tires, of course, do that on a lift because those things are big Mama Lukes and they're heavy.
Sure.
And I got a deal off of. I saw it on Amazon. It was 4 sway bar. I know I needed front sway bar links, but they had a pack of 4, the fronts and the rears, for a stupid price of like $43 or whatever. And I did some checking, and it looked to be okay, so I bought them. So the fronts went in.
Are they rubber or are they molded?
No, they're rubber.
Okay.
So the fronts went in without any not much problem. The rears, on the other hand, I had to get the whiz wheel and cut. I had to cut them all out, and it was. And that's why I looked at Kevin at one point. I said, "Yeah, this will be at this point. Like if I was home doing this on the driveway, I'd have to really rethink if it was this weather. Like how much longer am I willing to stay out here? Actually, I probably wouldn't have gone to the cutting." The cutting stage, because I know that follows up, that you got to follow up with some other stuff. But I did say to him, I said, well, if the whiz wheel's kind of slow, I said, I can go to DEFCON 4. He's like, what's that? I'm like, the oxyacetylene torch in the other room. I fire that thing up, just gone.
Yes.
But again, working inside with a heater and light and not having to worry about weather, it's a game changer. It really is. So.
But you do still have a worry because you have to get that vehicle that you're attaching acetylene torch to. You have to get that vehicle back home.
Kevin said that to me, and I told him what you said to me a few years ago about that, about bringing my car to the shop to do I don't know if I was doing struts or the AC clutch or whatever, and you said, oh my God, what are you going to do? And I'm like, hey, in my mind, it's like, there's no question. I'm just going to it's going to be fixed. I'm going to drive it home in my,
Love the attitude.
You have to, because way I look at it is like, well, what if I was working down there and a car came in and I had to get this car out by 5 o'clock? You got to get it fixed. You do. So you kind of get into another gear set engages where you just like, okay, what's it going to take? Let's do it. Right. So when it's your own car, it's easy to say, maybe I'll come back another day. No, you got to stay in that mindset of, hey, what's going to take? Let's do it. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, you do get stopped cold where it's a part issue or something breaks, or there are things that happen to stop you dead in your tracks. But
more of a percentage than I'd like to admit. But yes, there had been times where I had to back away from the project, close the garage door, go in the house, and make coffee.
Right.
Because I knew that this is dead in the water until I can get to the next phase. But if I had the car in the shop like you did, and you get to that phase holy smokes, now you're calling Uber, now you're calling the wife, now you're calling the kids, get me home.
Well, depending
got your car stuck on the lift.
Yeah, depending what you're doing. I mean, some things aren't always that bad. I mean, you could drive it home with a sway bar link missing. I mean, that's not the end of the world, you know.
That is true. That is true. You can do that. It'll be a little bouncy or a little cantankerous on the steering, but you can still do it. Yeah. It's not a huge deal.
Well, I'll tell you what else is cantankerous. The phone. Let's go to it and say, hi, you're on with the MotorMouths.
Oh, man, you really said the right word, cantankerous. That's me.
Yeah, what's up, Tom?
Thomas.
Oh, Chris, don't pee yourself laughing so hard. Listen, Happy New Year, guys. Congratulations on 20 years, whatever that 20 represents. I've been in listener probably at least 14, and I enjoy what you guys do, so thank you.
How did you find us originally, Tom?
My son, who's like 32 or 33, he found you guys, and then so we listened to you. I was listening to you on Thursdays and Sundays, right? And then we came to that party. We
at
brought
the junkyard.
IKEA Swedish food. Yeah,
that was our 10-year anniversary. Yeah,
love seeing you.
Yeah. So anyway, and that's how I've enjoyed it ever since. And I wanted to give you guys a good shout out and send my regards. How is Joe D?
Joe is doing very well. I saw him a couple of weeks ago. He's doing great. He's still keeping up with stuff, and we joust over texting a lot during the week and stuff. He is doing well. Thank you. So now I always tell him that you're asking for him. He appreciates it.
Yes.
He's a good guy, and I really I enjoy a lot of your guests. I enjoyed the guy that invents tools or makes tools. A few weeks ago, you had him on. They're the OEM manufacturer, on or other people that do those problem-solving tools. I enjoyed that show.
That might have been, you might be talking about Eddie Lyle. That was a while ago, but we had Luke from Easy Red on a few weeks ago, and a lot of the Easy Red stuff gets rebranded with the tool trucks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're all good guests. They're all good, yeah.
Yeah. Christian's great, too. A shout-out to Christian. Question to you guys. Is there any facilities that you're aware of that rents out lifts or garage spaces, like if you wanted to do it by the hour or by the day?
You know, lift space, I don't think so, because of the liability issue. You know, you can get so hurt and killed if you don't know how to use a lift right. So, no, I do not. I don't know of anybody who would do that. And any shop owner I know always shies away from from sharing, letting someone else use that shop space, again, because of the liability and the safety issues. So, yeah, that's a toughie. There used to be a place there used to be a place in Amityville, right off of the Southern State on 110, and they used to rent lift space, and it was always popular. But then guys were going in there changing transmissions, and like Chris said, they get halfway down and get stuck. They couldn't get the car, they couldn't come off the lift, and now that space is tied up, and there were issues. So I think that the place closed down. That was back, I guess, in the 90s they were doing that.
Wow. So, yeah, I think years ago at 107 in Central Avenue in Bethpage there, I think there was a shop with that tri-corner area where it hits, there's three roads there, like Central, 107, and Stewart Avenue all converge by Carl's Fence. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, and there's a good bar across the street where Sea Monster plays all the time. Yeah, I know exactly where you are. I know exactly where it is, yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I just lost you. I got it.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right, guys, and have a great day and all the best, and thanks for what you do.
All right, Tom, thank you. Keep calling. We enjoy the calls. We love talking with you.
Thanks,
all right,
Tom.
Thank you. You be well. Bye-bye.
So long.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was our good friend Tom.
Oh, just to let you know, the Biff Burger car was a 57 Chevy.
Yes.
That's what it was. It wasn't a Caddy. It was a Chevy.
Right.
And yes, it did sell for $900.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a operating vehicle.
No, it doesn't.
Picture. It looks like a prop of some sort. So I don't think it's a roller of any sort.
Which makes sense.
Sure, you wouldn't want to put a real one up there.
Right.
But yes, it's definitely the image of a 57 Chevy, and a rather nice one too.
Right.
So just to let you know, just to follow up on. I'm here reporting.
Right, that gives it that that whole 50s vibe of hamburger joint.
Yeah, sure. Either that or the car's on a lift and it's getting its transmission done. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Well, you never know, right? It got stuck up there and they can't get it off. So
right.
Maybe that's why they always think, if you can get it down, you can have it. Yeah.
So real fast, I was kind of a little humiliated last week during the last warm spell that we had because it had rained, and I've been doing this religiously. I've been going outside after it rains and taking a clean cloth and wiping down the cars.
Oh, wow.
I don't even take the hose out anymore. I have gotten to that low point in my automotive cleaning where I just wipe down the cars after it rains.
Oh, jeez.
And one of my neighbors caught me.
Yeah.
And came up to the driveway and said, "You got a car show and that's how you clean the cars?" And I'm like, I just put my head in shame. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
Right.
It's like, yeah, this is how I do it. Now I'm going to have to bring the cars into the backyard and do it.
Yeah.
So no one sees me. So I was a little humiliated this week by a neighbor who was like, "You know all this stuff about cars and this is how you clean them."
Oh, your neighbor's from Brooklyn too, huh?
Yeah, right.
That's funny. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to talk next week. There's going to be a project coming up that we were asked to attend, but we're not going to be able to make it. It's going to happen up in Ohio.
Oh.
Lewis Lee, who is the proprietor and creator of the Thursday night Plane and Traffic show, he has a school bus. He bought a full-size Bluebird school bus, and what he's doing is going to cut off the roof and raise it, because he's like 6'8", so he and his wife, he's going to convert it to like a traveling camper. So he and his wife can drive around, the country, go to the events, and now have their own place to stay. They're going to make it, kind of like their own Winnebusso, I guess they'll call it.
Winnebusso.
And what they're doing is, this has been going on for a while, he's preparing to do it, and a couple of the guys from the show, this fella Tyler has a shop up in Ohio. They're going to go to his shop. This is at the end of the month. And a few other guys are coming in. Terry, a good friend Terry from up here in Rockland, he's going to fly in. And they're all going to like gang up on this thing and make it a project, a group project, where they cut and raise the roof on this bus.
Wow.
And everybody's going to have their cameras there. They're all going to be doing YouTube stuff and, and whatever. But so we're going to have Tyler on the show next week, because he does have a shop that would make you say, "Holy cow, it's a beauty." He works on some great stuff. But it's one of those shops when you drive, he says, when you drive past it, there's no sign out front. So you would just drive. He goes, sometimes like the garage doors open and guys will pull in and say, "Hey, I didn't know how long you been here?" It's like, "We're not here." "No, hey," and they're looking past them. "Well, you got a lot of cars." I say, "How long you been here a long time?" "No, we haven't been here. We're not here."
No, we're not here now.
There's nothing to see, so get the hell out of here. And
that's my kind of shop, a nice stealth shop.
Yes.
I like that.
So we'll have Tyler on next week, and he's going to talk about his shop and then that project coming up.
I must admit, I'm already thinking of the problems and the setbacks like we were talking about earlier in the program with something like that. How do you mount windows on the side of a bus that you've just raised the roof on?
You know what? We'll get Lewis Lee on the show. We'll have him lay it out for us, because it's really his project. I know he has a plan, and I know that he's thought this out pretty succinctly, because he's good that way. I tell you what else is pretty succinctly. We're going to have to get out of here because Kim is here. She's doing Thunder Road. We're going to have to get the heck out of here. So
okay.
With that, we'll be out of here. We'll be back next week. And what do we say to people who are waiting in the parking lot, Chris?
Say, according to Chassis John, don't follow us home.
Right. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, MotorMouth Radio, we'll be back next week. See ya. 90.3 WHPC. We're out.